Raymond, normally we start with a cold open. What do you want to do today?
I don't want to do any cold open. Cold ass team, cold ass players, cold ass game, cold ass score. That's all I saw tonight. Nothing I saw tonight was worthy of a cold open.
I guess that's our cold open.
This is the GoldCast.
Boom! Welcome to another edition of the GoldCast. We are the voice of the Bay. I'm your host, Rudy Solis III, and with me is my brother, my co-host,
Raymond Solis the first, baby.
Boom! Man, Raymond, I give us this boom, but today doesn't feel like a boom kind of day. In fact, I just gave 3 booms on a day that
the other team had the booms tonight.
I don't like to bash the 49ers. You know, we don't like to pull Cohen's on this GoldCast. That's not our style here. We're not bombastic. We're not bait clicky. That's not our thing. But I have to admit, man, this really did seem like one of the flattest performances from the 49ers, especially in the first half. It was just so flat. Here we are, season on the line. Playoff lives on the line. Washington defeats Pittsburgh. We have to play an Alex Smith-led Washington team next week. They are also fighting for their playoff lives. We win this week. We go there. That maybe is a loser leaves town match. You know, that's like for to get a contender spot to go for the title. I mean, this match is huge for us. The Bills don't even need this game. They don't even need this game. And so I expected the Niners to come out guns blazing. Instead of that, we came out guns hazing.
I thought they were decent in the first few drives, albeit, kind of blowing it at the goal line, but then we got it right back with the fumble, which was just Devin Singletary's fault. It wasn't anything that the defense did outside of just Fred Warner being at the right spot in the right time to snatch it up. But I thought that just defensively, you really saw, what the lack of pass rush does to this defense when you have a quarterback like a Josh Allen, who in the preview episode, we talked about him being kind of really the big X factor for this team, because I thought that we had favorable matchups, but there was a last-minute scratch from Emmanuel Mosley, so he didn't play because of a hamstring injury. And then we had a brand-new guy, 2019 sixth-round pick, Dante Johnson, not to be mistaken for the Dante Johnson that was selected by Trent Baalke years ago, a different Dante Johnson who's even worse than that Dante Johnson. And they just chewed him up from the very beginning. Cole Beasley just ate him alive. And didn't matter who Stephon Diggs was covering, whether it was Jason Verrett or Richard Sherman, he also carved them up too on the ground. And with all the time in the world that Josh Allen had, and even when he had to get outside the pocket, made some terrific throws on the run outside the pocket, kept plays alive whenever the pass rush was able to break the protection. But to me, I felt like the lack of pass rush just really, because when you rush Josh Allen, he makes a lot of mistakes. I mean, most quarterbacks make mistakes, but Josh Allen in particular, he also he gets flustered really easily. He rushes the football. He plays like Nick Mullens when he gets pass rushed, and he just didn't do that. He had all the time in the world today, and that made all the world of a difference.
Our defensive line's inability to really put pressure. And then, of course, when we did break free, Josh Allen did a wonderful job of eluding us. It was very kind of Russell Wilson-esque out there. That caused problems. We really struggled to get the run game going. That didn't do us any favors. And then costly turnovers. Costly turnovers. 2 interceptions from Nick Mullens again. I mean, this is, Nick Mullens says he believes he can be a starter in this league. I'm not here to bash our quarterback, and I would never say you're not. Blah, blah, blah. I'm not trying to do all that. But here's the thing. I want to believe you, Nick Mullens. I want to believe him, but it's just really tough because, I think to really be a successful quarterback in the NFC, in the NFL, and in particular in the NFC West, you really need to be able to put the team on your back at certain times. And because it's so competitive in this division, and a team like the Buffalo Bills, who's rolling all year, I mean, they come in fully expecting to win this game. I didn't like that we were the 2.5 point underdogs going into this game, and then by the end of the week, Vegas has us as 1 point favorites. We don't really play that well. I know that it's neither here nor there. I'm just talking about the basic journey to this game, but it was frustrating. And there's a much better version of this team that exists on paper right here that was on that field. And we just didn't see them maximize that potential.
No, unfortunately not. And I felt like, DJ Jones hurt his ankle, left the game. Guy can't stay healthy. As much as I like him, he just can't stay healthy. So I'm sorry. If you can't stay healthy, why even have this guy? He's a rotation player at best, and even then he's susceptible to get injured because he's so goddamn fragile. So frustrating, just very frustrating. Javon Kinlaw, rookie, still learning. I don't expect much out of him. I really don't. The pick six, it was a fluke in my opinion. So I just think that even though there is promise for him to progress, especially once he gets, high caliber supporting players around him like a Nick Bosa, but outside of that, I feel like nobody else can really step up outside of Kerry Hyder. When Kerry Hyder gets a Nick Bosa, wow, watch out. That's going to be a crazy duo. And we know that Eric Armstead cannot carry by himself. He's not a DeForest Buckner type of player. So he will obviously play better once Nick Bosa gets back. Nick Bosa is going to be the key to all of this going forward, especially next year, because we're not going to have him this season. So he's really going to be, you see what the lack of pass rush is, and that's just why the Bills were so successful. Because the corners, you have 2-3 seconds to maintain that coverage before it gets really, really difficult for everybody. Let alone a 6th round pick who's having his first NFL start going up against the likes of Cole Beasley, one of the fastest slot receivers in all of football. Stephon Diggs, one of the best deep threats, and also just a terrific route runner. I mean, he just made some great moves tonight. And even the kid Gabriel, the rookie, he had a couple of moments too. I believe he caught the touchdown on the busted coverage play. That Richard Sherman's playing zone because he just doesn't have a whole lot of cutting and lateral movement in that because of that calf injury he dealt with, which is stemming from the Achilles tear that he dealt with. To me, Richard Sherman, if he wants any semblance of viability in a secondary, he needs a competent pass rush to help complement him and offset what he's lacking now in age and durability, or I should say athleticism. And B, he needs to move to free safety. Those are the two things that needs to happen for him. Jason Verrett just got outmatched tonight. Simple as that. Jimmy Ward, I thought, played well for the most part. Just got beat on some plays, but didn't necessarily have the worst game out of the secondary. He actually played the best. I thought he played the best out of everyone in the secondary. And Fred Warner can only do so much, and then that was it. But I mean, the running game looked inept because the offensive line is inept. They don't have a George Kittle blocking out there along with Kyle Juszczyk, so they're limited in their potency to run effectively. Didn't see a whole lot of, I don't know. I just thought the play calling was a little flat. I thought it looked kind of predictable to me, which is not what we normally get out of Kyle Shanahan. But again, I'm not, I don't know these X's and O's as well as some other people, so perhaps I'm missing something in my perception of what I saw tonight. But overall, this was just, I thought the defense came out and played well in the beginning, and it was really the second quarter where Buffalo, put this game away, and then everything else was just icing on top, because we matched them point for point in the second half. And in the first quarter, we scored first. But in the second quarter, Buffalo put up 17 unanswered points to go to the halftime.
17
and
straight.
That was all they needed. That was all they needed.
That was it. I thought we played fairly well in the third quarter. I agree. And you said, point for point, we dropped 10, they dropped 10. We dropped 7, or they dropped 7, we dropped 7. What really hurt us was our inability to get that second to last touchdown. We were so close. We were right there. Who had the ball on that play where his knee was down? They overturned the call. That was
Kendrick Bourne.
Yeah, it was Kendrick Bourne. Kendrick Bourne's right there. that really was the play because we were running out of so much time and we weren't playing fast enough and efficient enough to really get it going. And when they overturned the touchdown and then we don't produce any points out of it, and then we got to give the ball back to Buffalo. I mean, we were already at like the 6-minute mark at that point. It's like there's just not enough time. You're only going to get maybe one or two more possessions past it if you're lucky. If you can stop them. And we really ran out of time. And like you said, that second quarter really did us in. I'm very disappointed. Let me ask you a question, Raymond. We haven't done this in a while. Who gets your cold shower for today?
Oh, jeez.
Remember this?
Wow.
This was our segment from last season. Who gets our game balls? Who gets our cold showers? Today they've earned some cold showers. I hate to admit it. Who gets your cold shower?
Cold shower, without a doubt, is Nick Mullens. I'm going to give Nick Mullens a cold shower for sure. Made some all right had some okay movement in the pocket at times, was able to avoid pocket collapse and pressure, which I thought was nice. But, just, again, inaccurate with the football. Just no timing, no rhythm, and I don't get it because, before when he was a starter, this seemed to not be a problem for him, but for some reason it is this year. So I know he says he thinks he's good enough to be a starter, but in my opinion, still got a lot to prove, man. Can't just do it that one season when you flash and then that's it, because right now, maybe 2 years ago he was flashing. This year he's in the pan. It's so to me, you got to be more consistent, and I'm just not seeing that out of Nick Mullens. So the deeper down this rabbit hole of losses we go, the more valid I think a quarterback pick becomes. So unless they can salvage some games, and because now you're out of it. 10 games, you need 10 games to get into the tournament. That means the best record you can end with is 9-7. I don't expect that to happen. I expect Seattle to steamroll us, and I expect us to be somewhere around 8-8, or like Johnny Dells and I said a few podcasts back, 6-10. The play I saw tonight was more reminiscent of a 6-10 effort versus a 9-7 gritty, scrappy fight, or even a best case scenario 10-6. So that's obviously out of the picture. To me, they played like a 6-10 team.
Ouch. Okay, so here's my cold shower. I'm going to go the San Francisco offense. I'm going to go from Shanahan all the way down. You mentioned it earlier. I thought the play calling, especially on the goal line, was really predictable. And really, we like to run outside the numbers. We like these plays going along the edges of the game, and we kept trying to force this up the middle thing. I don't know. They maybe on the tape they saw that the Buffalo was vulnerable up the middle, and they thought they could exploit that. Either way, Buffalo was not, and they were fully prepared for it. And I thought the play calling was a little flat. I thought Nick Mullens played flat. I'm not really sure where Deebo Samuel was. I don't know if Deebo Samuel was not, if they were double teaming him. I'm not sure what was going on there. The only guy that I thought flashed was Brandon Ayuk. He was the only guy.
They went to him in the first half, and I felt like they should have been seesawing off the two of them. Brandon Ayuk, outside of the play where, he lost the football and it turned into a pick, the deep ball catch on the left side, that was amazing, where he kind of turned and found the ball and was able to still make the catch between two defenders. I thought that was a tremendous catch. I feel like his route running ability has the potential to have some elite route running ability. Some of the replays, watching him run those routes, I'm just like, wow, he's a rookie and he's making some pretty nice moves. I was like, imagine when he polishes those skills. Because that's one thing that's actually a knock on Deebo Samuel is his he's not as efficient a route runner, but he's got tremendous speed, which is why he's so effective in those jet sweeps, and when he's in motion, he's hard to stop, and he has tremendous yards after the catch ability. Those are the two things that he does extremely well. So as long as he polishes the route tree and is able to run all of those routes, he can become one of the best in the league. But Brandon Ayuk is already showing that he is a better route runner than Deebo Samuel, and he's still a rookie, which is pretty damn impressive from Ayuk's perspective. So I do like that a lot, and I'm very excited about them playing on the field together more often, because at least we're going to get some of that in this last home stretch of games. But yeah, the other thing too, it's like the Niners, they were taken out of their home field because they'd rather be playing in Santa Clara. We had to play in a simulated Arizona stadium. It felt and looked like the Niners home game. They even had the audio to make it sound like the home game, but it just, I think that threw
But only
them
we can
off
hear that.
too.
It's not like that they can hear that. That's just for us at home,
Right, but I mean, like, it's also like, part of it is like the fact that Santa Clara County shut all their facilities down last minute, and they had to scramble to make this work. That's got to be a little bit taxing on the team as well. You have to make extenuating adjustments to your practice schedule, your travel schedule, all of that. So I felt like there was just a lot of things working against this team, and has been all season long. So it's hard to kind of feel optimistic and hopeful when everything just seems to be working against them, no matter what. And there's few bright points to really kind of look forward to outside of the ones we've already mentioned. So, but unfortunately, I think this definitely knocks us out of the playoffs, even though mathematically we're still in it.
Yeah, mathematically we're still in it, and I agree with you. I think it's probably a wrap. I agree. You could probably stick a fork in it. It's a bummer, but yeah, I think we've said everything we're gonna have to say about this game. This kind of sucks, and I'm just want to wipe it away and I guess move on to next week, and hopefully we have a nice, fun duel with Alex Smith and we beat him. Who knows? All right, I want to talk about Paris 2024 breakdancing being inducted into the Olympics. That's me as a pro b-boy. That's my boy Schools right there. You can't see his face. Little cameo from Michael Schools right there. This is just a photo shoot we did years ago. And as somebody who used to be a pro, you didn't make a whole lot of money in our era, but you trained 5 days a week. You competed a lot. We had a great run, highly competitive run. And it was a really good time. It was one of the happiest times of my life. And so I'm really excited to see breakdancing move into the Olympics. I'm really excited for all the kids that are dancing professionally now. I hope this opens a lot of revenue streams for them that we didn't have access to in our era. And I am so pumped to root on the United States to go win this in the Olympics. Just the fact that breakdancing has gone from a little street dance in the New York boroughs in the 70s to now, 50 years later, an Olympic event is really dope, and I want to give props to my old crew, Mad Action. I want to give props to Style Elements crew, Rock Steady crew, Rock Force crew, Renegades, Sub 4. These are all a lot of crews from way back in the day. Circle of Fire, LA Breakers. These are all major crews from the West Coast, and major crews from my era, the 90s, early 2000s, that helped push the dance along so that another generation could get it. And now here we are. And it's a very special moment, and I'm very excited. And any thoughts on it, Raymond?
I think it's pretty amazing. It's a testament to how recognized and respected the sport is now. The same can be said of skateboarding, which had made a lot of headway through Tony Hawk's effort, along with every other pro who competed in those X Games during that era. Skateboarding's been a worldwide sport since you and I did it.
It's also in the Olympics now, for those of you who don't know.
That's what I mean. That's why I mentioned it. So just that's just pretty exciting. San Francisco used to be the skate mecca back in the day, in the 90s, when the blind team, the girl team, all those teams are coming up. Mike Carroll, Rick Howard, so many guys that came through that era to push the sport back then. And so to see that finally kind of reach this new pinnacle, even though skateboarding has been mainstream for quite a while now, it's just another notch in the belt of what in my opinion should have happened sooner. So I mean, the fact that it's happening is great. That's I still am very excited to see how these sports. This is going to be pretty cool. It's going to make me watch the Olympics more than that because I'm not a big Olympics fan. There's certain events I like, but now there's certain events that I will love undoubtedly and watch with a keen eye, just to see how it plays out and how they judge and score everything. Because I know that obviously the industries are going to have some great influence over that, so I'm curious how it's going to play out. But nonetheless, super cool news coming out of the sports world, especially on a night when it wasn't so fun to be a sports fan.
Absolutely. So props to breakdancing, props to b-boying, shout outs to just anybody who put blood, sweat, and tears into this, whether you were competing in Texas or New York or San Francisco. Just props to you guys. This is for all of us. We did it. We did it. Props to all the skateboarders. You guys did it. Raymond, you were a big avid skateboarder yourself, so we did it. We
torn Achilles this year skateboarding.
Yeah, that's true. All right. So concludes another edition of the GoldCast. We'll be back, obviously, for our preview episode on Thursday. And so concludes another edition of the GoldCast. We are the voice of the Bay. I'm your host, Rudy Solis III, and with me is my brother, my co-host,
Raymond Solis the First, baby.
Boom! We'll see you next time. Same GoldCast time, same GoldCast channel. Mad Action Crew, baby. What?